Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to week 10 of the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. Here from, well, a circuit that, thank goodness, iRacing has not implemented rain yet, and we can't mirror the real life conditions because, my golly, they've had a real tough time with it in Italy in this region at the moment. And, well, good luck to everyone around there, and hope you're safe and, well, you can overcome the challenges you experience. But that's the sim world. I'm Tim Cox. We've got Samina Kulo with in the Virtual Protection trailer, but I'm now with Aaron Smith. As always, Aaron, one of your favourite tracks. I know you've been looking forward to this one for quite some time, to say the least.
I mean, it just has such a different feeling than any other track, in my opinion. It offers just an experience that I don't think I've experienced in any other track I've ever driven on sim or in real life. It's just the challenge of it, the way the track flows together, and especially this modern layout. I think this modern layout is peak Imola. You know, you go back, I think 15, 20 years when they had the last chicane just before the start-finish straight. Now, it was a bit of an awkward chicane and slowed down the racing quite a bit. And go back even further to, I think, before the fateful weekend in 94, the entire of Sector 1 was just completely flat. And, you have some memories of driving those in older sims, and it can be a blast from the past driving those. But this modern Imola is such a joy to drive, and especially in these high downforce Formula 3.5 cars, it's just glorious. I've driven it a few times this week, and I don't know if I regret not doing the race or not. It is really that much fun.
Qualifying, that is well underway right now. The drivers, a few of them completed one lap so far, and there's quite a few of them that have had times deleted. Mordan, Tavares, Moraine, Gallis, Bonamati, and Marcus Alacron as well, all having no stopping. Alacron's just on his that lap, so is Javier Bonamati. Samborski, well, back to where he will rightfully feel he belongs. The top of the timing sheets, 2 tenths clear of Macias. Currently in second. Well, then hold my beer, watch this. Marlon Mordan, the flying Frenchman, goes a tenth quicker than Samborski. 128.245. That's a new time to be here at Imola. Yukimi Hara, he's on a flying lap. Dennis Cornu improves one. Marcus Alacron just disrupts that gaggle of Frenchmen that have come to put a stranglehold in these last few rounds of the championship. He heads up to the third row of the grid, 5th place. It will at the moment start alongside Ludovic Granchon. As there is Gallus going across the line. Mark Ponick up into 9th, the Canadian. Strong result from him. As Bon Marty has crossed the line on his first lap. That time has been deleted, so he's got an all or nothing. One more attempt left as the number 8 machine. And also, Marcus Alacron has a chance to go again. Can he improve? You tend to go quicker second time around, don't you, Aaron?
Oh yeah, definitely. The car is really hooked up on that second lap. The first lap is more just settling in, especially at a track like this. It is just getting a lap in, because around here you're not really worried about getting an off track per se. It is just going off the track and probably into a wall. That's your biggest worry. The off tracks around here aren't too bad. I think the worst ones are probably through Variante Alta on the exit there. That can be a little bit tricky, and also in the entry there, and also here where we're riding with Gallus into Acqua Minerale. It can be a little bit touch and go, but apart from that, yeah, off tracks aren't too much of a worry. And that second lap is it's where the car is most hooked up in all sessions you're going to be in practice, in qualifying, or in the race. And some of these drivers getting the best of it. And I'm really surprised at the gaps. You know, the top 10 separated by about a second, which isn't too bad.
Sergio Macias, that's a cracking lap from him there, Aaron, as Bon Marty crosses the line. I guess it's Simon, and he goes 9th there. A solid result from the Spaniard.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. You know, it's always good to see some drivers putting in some really shocking lap times in a good way, of course, not shockingly bad. But yeah, we're seeing some really competitive lap times, especially in that midfield. We know that you know, the mid pack in 3.5s are always so competitive, and well, today is no different at all, and it might be the battle to watch for this race.
That's qualifying done and dusted as we transition across to the race, and you see the beautiful picturesque scenery here in Italy, the rolling hills of the Emilia-Romagna region. But it is Marlon Mordan on pole. He's joined by Sam Polsky on the front row. Row 2 sees Sergio Macias alongside Nicolas Marinal. Row 3, it's another Iberian-French row. It's Marcos Alacron with Ludovic Ranchon. Denis Cornu, he's got Benjamin Barreto alongside him on row 4, with row 5 and the top 10 being rounded up by Javier Bonmarti and Mark Ponick. Yukihara, he's got Eric Weiserwimski alongside him on row 6. Row 7, that sees James Byrne with Takashi Shindoi. There's Richard Holt with Valero Tavares. Row 9, that's Zephyrus and Lionel Mace. Bit of a disappointing qualifying there for the Frenchman was Sylvain Moraine as well. Another Frenchman disappointed maybe by qualifying here. One of the large French contingent we've got here of some, 7 drivers. They're looking to continue their sort of stranglehold that they've provided in recent times. And, well, not setting a time. He'll start from last place. 20th. Row 10 completed by Daniel Gallus. And the only way is up for Daniel Gallus. And, well, I remember only a few seasons ago, sadly we don't have that driver here, a brilliant, 200 IQ move from Chirikawa. Got hooked up on the wall on the exit, well, onto just near the start-finish straight, near the pit entrance, and saw the inside to drive forward because he knew the wall ended, unhooked himself, off he went, and carried on with the race. I mean, his car was completely destroyed, but even so, it was an inspired move, and that's something you see every day. But here we go. Here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing from Imola in Italy as we are green. And we are go. And Marlon Mordan gets a cracking start there as they head down towards turn 1. But someone just pulls alongside. And Macias looking to get involved here at this early stages. And, well, I think we've all just about moved it through there. Tavares, he's dropped a few places. He's down a couple, all shuffling around in the background there, but Macias up into, well, remaining in third. Alacron, one of those drivers suffering early on. He's dropped 3 and he's down to 8th.
Yeah, he didn't really have a good start, did the Spaniard at all. He's trying to put a nose on Cornu there into Tozer, but just has to sit back. And, well, this track is thin and very, very difficult to overtake. Realistically, into turn one is your best opportunity. You can get a good run, though, down to the first Ravazza if you're lucky through Variante Alta. But other than that, a very, very tough challenge for some of our drivers. That's Samborski off the road at Acqua Minerale.
Oh, there's 3 of them off. Oh, and that's Alacron. He just made contact with him and came flying through. Oh dear, that's going to be big contact, big damage for some of those cars. Wow, big casualties, Aaron. That is not good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Big of a puff of cloud of smoke there as we head through the back of the circuit. Grassini.
Oh.
He's just lost it by himself. It's, I mean, very large disparity. And I mean, they all made exactly the same mistake. It's so easy to do through there. I've done it many a time myself, but then I pale into insignificance. There's Sergio Macias going incredibly slow there. I smell a slowdown there.
Yeah, so do I. I think he went off the track at the final corner as well. But I'd just like to mention, look at the top 4. That's for those people who like a bit of a pattern, you know, that's
well, you could go
glorious.
for 5th because of course Canada. Oh, that is Bonmarti off, and also I think Alacron and Samborski have also had a fair bit coming together too. So I've clearly got heavy damage. Well, there's Alacron into the pits, and there's Samborski just heading in too. You could go one further, Aaron, because in obviously the second language of Canada is French.
That is true. Maybe Ponic will change national.
Although, well, if it depends what part of Canada is from Quebec, it will make a difference. But that's well, let's see. Yes, can't quite get it done on Lionel Mays. Could even lose a place to Javier Bonmarti there. This is the battle for 15th currently ensuing, and as everyone makes it through this time for Acqua Minerale.
Yeah, just there you saw Bonmarti again struggling with the car on the exit of Acqua Minerale. He just could not get the car hooked up on the exit there at all, and just a bit too optimistic on throttle. But that's not the line at all from Barreto. As I think Rancon and I think all of these Frenchmen are really, really struggling. Mordan shot off into the distance, but Barreto, Rancon and Cornu, I think Cornu is actually okay for pace, but it's just getting held up by the 2 drivers in front of him. They all seem to be really, really struggling right now. I mean, 4 seconds in 3 laps is a really, really big gap already. And, well, unless Mordan is just pulling pace out of nowhere, but unless he makes a mistake, I mean, I know it's a bit early to say this, but might have this one in the bag already.
Oh, Aaron, I love your optimism. Is that going to be the curse of the commentator incoming now? We'll find out definitely in 21 laps at a time. We'll be rounding up things here in Imola. Of course, 24 laps here as Ponic has dropped a place. That's Yukimi Hara, who's made up 6 places so far. He's into 5th in that 11 machine, just in front of him. Well, it's big gains or big losses, nothing in between whatsoever. There's only one driver who hasn't changed position from where they started. That's Marlon Mordan. There he is. Clicks over just at the right time there, our producer Samuli. There's also a bit of a change around further down. So Gallus has got past Bonmarti, although they've then swapped back, actually, apologies. So no real change there. But, wow, I mean, big news. Losing Samborski and Alacron. Such early stages, but I mean, just going back to that mistake, Aaron, all made exactly the same one. It was like they were all in synchronicity.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 or 4 cars that all made the exact same mistake, and I just think they were being a little bit too aggressive on lap 1 with these cold tyres, which we know. I mean, these tyres look like squares anyway, but on that first lap, they may as well be. They have no grip whatsoever on that first lap, and you have to be so gentle. And combined with the dirty air that Samborski was in as well, just, you know, that slight dip down to Acqua Minerale, it does unsettle the car. Here's a move for top 10 places. Marinel getting past Shindoi, who's had the best of starts in this race as well. He's up 3 spots, but just starting to fall away off the pace now. But Oh, there's a move for Tavares, who's actually defending from Macias as well. That would be an interesting move, and Macias getting the best of Tavares. That was a really brave move, but had to get it done. He knows how much quicker he is than the Brazilian. But I was just going to mention, you have to feel for Zamborski this season. He's had, I mean, he's made his own mistakes, of course, but I mean, I think at the start of the season he was like close to 9,000 iRacing. Now he's nearly down to 7k.
It's so easy to lose it though, isn't it, when you have those high I ratings? And, I mean, I know from speaking to a few of the pro drivers, it's why they personally tend to do so few officials, because all it takes is one bad result and you lose a whole ton of I rating. As you're seeing a change around here. There's one Marty, Spaniard's going to squeeze his way through on the run down towards Tamburello and gets the move done there. Over Gallus, well, over, sorry, Lionel Mays up the inside, job done for the Spaniard. 99 attempts down the road. That is Sylvain Moraine, and still in quite a bit of a challenge just in front of him there, and that was Sergio Macias. He's on a bit of a recovery drive. That's him up into 12 ahead of Justus Severus. Starts to move away, and as you say, Aaron, these faster drivers start to come back through the pack now in the form of Merilal and Macias. Caught out early on, even Bonmati too. Drivers to lose big placings in these early stages. This battle reigns for 9th place, and Holt is really having to defend hard right now. Although, is he running in? It's a bit too deep. Is that going to be a slowdown there and through on the exit of Aqua Minerale?
I think he just about avoided the slowdown, but definitely got an off track there. He is having to push really, really hard to keep ahead of Marinel. It is, I wouldn't say simple to defend around this track, but as long as you can keep your cool, pick the absolute right line to defend, then it's pretty textbook around here, as there's only really one line. It's a rather thin and narrow track. It's not really got much margin for error, but as we know, the DRS in this car is extremely powerful, and I believe Marinel is making the best of it now.
There we go, up the inside into what is effectively actually turn 2 here at Imola. Samborello was the sort of the king just past the start-finish line. That is technically classed as turn 1 because of the motorbikes. As it is, there's so many tracks. You think of Laguna Seca, the extra corners at Road America, the Red Bull Ring as well being another one, and that was brave from Macias, wasn't it? Shindoi nearly had a maybe some modifications made to his suspension, and certainly would have been to Macias' front wing if those two made contact.
Yeah, just locked a front brake into Tozer. A little bit optimistic on those brakes, but I mean, Macias, he qualified in 3rd. I think he was only 4/10 off of pole, so we know he's got some really, really good pace at this track, and it's going to be tough for him to get back to the places where he should be. But I mean, look how close he is to Shindoi and Holt. I mean, it's only really a matter of time until he passes these two. And honestly, if Macias can keep up this good pace and this good progress, I wouldn't be surprised if he finished maybe within the top 8 if he's lucky. This track is known for mistakes, and well, Shindoi just made one there into Ravazza too.
Well, it's really going to hurt him, isn't it? All the way down this long section of the track. Oh, you want to call it a straight, but it's not really. It's just a series of high-speed, fast-flowing corners. And here comes Macias. He's going to be on the inside into turn 1. Shindoi, well, just yields the corner in the end and allows the Spaniard through. And now it's Holt's turn to try and hold up Macias, as it's been Shindoi's been unable to make progress against the Brit for so long. At this stage in the race, it'll be interesting to see how Macias can get on against him. Other than that, well, still nose to tail pretty much in this interesting, intriguing battle for second place is still ensuing. Barreto, Ranchon and Cornu.
Yeah, all of these Frenchmen having a spectacular race. I say that, and there's a Barreto going very, very wide at Aqua Minerale. I don't know if he got the slowdown for that, though. I think he might have just gotten away with it, but definitely got an off track. And yeah, we'll have to just be a little bit careful for these next few corners, as maybe got a little bit of dirt on his tyres. But I think the battle for 3rd actually is going to be a lot closer, because Barreto seems to have some decent pace in him. and he's starting to pull away from these two. And I think Rankon now is just keeping in the slipstream, just about, but it's going to be tough to keep Cornu behind.
It will be. I think it all comes down to that tactical use of DRS, doesn't it? Of course, the drivers have 8 available uses they can deploy as many times as they want per lap at any point during the race, but they only have those 8 uses. As Macias has already got past Holt, so that's impressive from him. As Moraine is past Tavares, they seem to be just being done off camera, although, well, the latter not quite done, but it is now. That is Moraine through up into 14th, and well, Zafir is off. That's going to allow Moraine. So this is going to be close down in towards field now. Free. Are they going to make it free? Well, they try and make it. Someone tries to squeeze their way through. Oh, wow. Oh, there's further contact in the background as that's Lionel Mace shoved wide there by Safiris, who was unside. Didn't see the Frenchman coming through.
Honestly, I'm surprised it just ended up with someone going off into the gravel. I honestly thought it was going to be a catastrophic crash into Villeneuve. I mean, they were nearly 3 wide at one point, and yeah, it was just a little tap for Mays into the entry on Villeneuve, and he came out relatively unscathed. I mean, he's lost a bunch of time because of it, but you know, compared to what it could have been, he could have ended up in the wall like Zamborski and Alarcon did, but you know, he's still in the race just about. And do you know what? After lap 1, I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how not many mistakes we've had. I thought it was going to be a lot more than this, so props to the drivers at the moment. I've said it now. There you go. It's going to be a huge pileup.
Oh, yeah, you watch. You know the drill, Aaron. You know the drill. That's Moraine up into third. Team that's Bon Marty just behind him. Of course, in the instant earlier on, really didn't help him whatsoever. Fell pretty much to the back of the pack. He's managed to call some of those places back up into 14th, so only down 5 from where he started, up in 9th, but still not ideal. Also, recovering drivers, Nicholas Maranel, he's 9th overall, likewise Sergio Macias. He is up to 10th overall now. Those two down 5 and 7 places from where they started. So Macias is the 3 biggest losers. Well, it's Bon Martin past Moraine there with relative ease and around the outside into Tosa effectively. Don't see too many people going around the outside there. Certainly getting the move done.
Yeah,
I think it was facilitated a bit by the Frenchman, wasn't it? It did make his life a little bit too easy with that one. Didn't really put up much of a fight.
Yeah, he went way too deep on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane and just, yeah, ran out wide onto the curb. Kind of bottomed out there and didn't really have any chance of fighting with Bon Marty. Maybe he'll be able to get him back into turn 1. He's keeping with him, to be fair. And again, we know how powerful the slipstream is. Will Bon Marty use one of his DRSs? Will Moraine use one of his DRSs? And of course, it's nearly impossible to tell if someone is using the DRS because, well, that tiny flap is really, really small and nearly impossible to see. Actually, I think I could just about see that Bon Marty is using his DRS. I think so. Yeah, Moraine's not really gaining on him at all. So, yeah, I think he's just making the best of his DRS usages at the moment and will firmly stay in 13th. Oh. Unless he goes a bit deep into turn 1.
I don't know whether it's the camera angle deceiving a bit because I thought it looked a bit deep as well, but then he seems to just making his way through Zamborelli pretty easily and has sent himself up the road. Hasn't really lost any time or gained any, has Bon Marty there. Over Shindoyu's ahead of him in 12th. Holt has dropped a couple of places. He's now down to 11th after that encouraging start, and they're enabled by a few of the people's mistakes early on. And let's have a bit of a run through the orders. We're lap 10 out of 24 here from Imola. Marlon Mordan leads by 9.8 seconds. He's not hanging around today. And then it's, well, a top 4, a Frenchman with Barreteau and Ranchon running out the podium. Denny Cornu is in 4th. However, it's Yukimi Hara. He's looking to strap that lockout at the top 4 of the French drivers right now, and he's only 6/10 behind Cornu. Marponic, he is in 6th, then it's James Byrne in 7th. Vizminski is 8th, then it's Marinel and Macias Serrana, he's top 10. Holt, Shindoy, Bon Marty, Moraine, Tavares, Firas, Gallis, and Mays take up to 18th. And retirements, lap 1, we lost Samborski and Allegron. Of course, that contact they made after both of them losing it in separate, unforced incidents in Aqua Minerale. That's hurt them. Broken suspension. They are out of the race. Not the race they were certainly both hoping for. Qualified well up at the front. And it all went belly up for them in the blink of an eye. And still battles of plenty. This one's an intriguing one, isn't it? 6th place, Ponic, Byrne, Wisminski, and Marinel all involved in this four-way tussle for 6th place.
I honestly don't know who's going to win out here. They're all relatively similar on pace as Byrne there, going a little bit deep into Aqua Minerale, but yeah, when you're all similar on pace like this and you're kind of in a train, it goes all the way from 6th to, I want to say, 10th, and yeah, it's really awkward in this situation where, you know, you're all in that slipstream train and it's fairly difficult to follow another car around here, and especially in these cars as well. It's a little bit awkward. It's kind of like what we've seen in F1 races over the past few years here at Imola. You do get a little bit caught up, and if you're close enough, like Marinel is to Wisminski right now, I mean, look at this. I say you can't pass around here, and he goes and makes me eat my words. Up into 8th place, good overtake from Marinel, and yeah, I should stop talking, because whenever I do, they just prove me wrong.
Oh, there we go. Realistically, of the whole track, that is the best opportunity to get a move done, isn't it? Down into Turn 1 proper, shall we call it, Tamburello. It's realistically, if you can't get a move done there, you're going to struggle elsewhere on the track. Harford, oh, that's Bonmarti. I thought, oh, that's done quite a bit of his hard work. He's dropped behind Moraine and a whole heap of time, because he was onto the back of Shindoi, wasn't he? Yeah, he's lost a fair chunk of time as the Spaniards. So looking like unforced errors are plenty here, isn't there, tonight?
Yeah, it's weird, because usually around here we get, you know, some, oh, hello, there's one.
That's your leader, that's Marlon Mordanov. Oh, well, thank goodness he's got that big lead.
I was going to say, I think he's going to be all right. I think that was at the final corner. Yeah, it was. And he's lost around 4 or 5-ish seconds from doing that. And honestly, I think he just missed a braking point and, you know, very, very lucky. This is probably the best place to go off in the entire track. It has a fairly big gravel trap, and yeah, just got a little bit too deep into Ravazza 1, but luckily, as you say, had a pretty big gap and was able to rejoin safely. And he doesn't really need to push, to be honest. I mean, he's about half a second a lap quicker than anyone else on track, and you know, has a big gap anyway. So, you know, Mordan, just calm down for the rest of the race. You've got this in the bag.
Talking of calming down, these two aren't. Tavares is on, well, I was going to say driver's right as Safiris, but not anymore. As Costa Safiris is ahead, and Gallus now looking to inflict even more hurt onto the Brazilian as he's closed right up in a flash onto the back of Tavares. He makes another mistake on the entry into Villeneuve. Can Gallus capitalise into Souza? No, he can't. It wasn't enough to get the move done as they drag up the hill towards Piratella, and I think that's that opportunity gone there for Gallus.
Yeah, he just couldn't really make the best of it there. And I mean, we should have a counter for how many times I'm going to say this. It is not easy, this track, at all. And proving my point. Hello, same mistake that Mordan made. Yeah, same mistake that Mordan made about a lap ago, and yeah, that's rather weird that he literally made the exact same mistake. Was a little bit worse off, as he's gone from, I think he was in 2nd, and is now down to 5th.
He was indeed. And he's dropped even more time as well, as he now finds himself 1.3 seconds nearly behind Yukimi Haru, who's moved up into 4th place. He's now up at 7 spots as the Japanese driver. And I was just having a bit of a look while we were talking us through the previous replay where Marlon Mordan dropped off the circuit at exactly the same stage as Bonmarti had of Simon Moraine. And I was thinking, well, it doesn't seem that hot here. What's the track temperature like? Has it leapt up suddenly mysteriously? No, it hasn't. There we go, right on cue. Similarly in the production booth, getting the stats up on screen. 26 degrees track temperature. That's not hot. Only 24 degrees ambient. And there's a bit of a wind. And I think maybe, just maybe, is that what's causing things here today?
Possibly, but to be fair, in iRacing, the wind, to be fair, I've never really felt it has that big of an effect. Of course it does have an effect. I mean, saying that it doesn't would be stupid. But, oh, there's Marine going for a different line through Aqua Minerale. He's right on the back of Bon Marty again. But, yeah, it doesn't affect you too much in the way that you would think compared to real life anyway. Like I said before, it still does have an effect, but I don't know if it would cause braking issues. I just think it's that time of the race where people are just getting a little bit too comfortable. Oh, that's an aggressive side-by-side action from Marinel and Byrne. And I think Byrne was being a little bit cheeky with the moves down the main straight there. And I don't think Marinel's going to be too happy.
Well, it's interesting because he kept it on pretty much a constant line, but just put his car in the middle of the track. And it's like, oh, what are you going to do, Nicholas? What are you going to do? You're going to go left, you're going to go right? It's down to you to try and make the move. And there we go. Has a bit of a lunge there into Tosa. Has to back out of it. Byrne lives to fight another day, but this squads Macias right into the equation here. And now Marinel needs to be careful because if he gets this wrong in trying to get past Byrne, you know full well Macias is going to say, thank you very much, I'll have that place from you. I want to have a go at attacking at Byrne. Well, the American right now is just, as I said, just cleverly defending that one down the start finish straight. Just put the car in the middle of the track and then took, like, you know, racing line, but then just migrated into the middle of the track. Yeah, clever stuff there to retain sit in place right now. But can he do it again? That's the big question. That's the big question, Aaron. I mean, has Marinel learnt from it? Although now he has Macias. Oh, that was contact, I think. That was contact.
Byrne is so lucky. So lucky. I thought Byrne was gone then. I really did. I believe that was Macias who hit the back of Marinel. And yeah, Macias has had a really good comeback this race, but I mean, that's rather put a dent in it. As I don't know if he has any damage. I don't think he does. So, you know, he's gotten away with it for now, but... Ugh.
I assume it was contact. I mean,
yeah, it looked like
it did, you know, it had that sort of vibe for it. I mean, though, if you lock the rears, it can snap a little bit like that on this car, but hopefully, well, in some ways, I hope it was the latter rather than the former, but then in equal terms, it's, oh wow, it's unlucky, whatever way you look at it, for Nicholas Marinel, who's now down to 10th as Wisminski has made his way through. He's there, you can see the pole, 9th place. And now on to the back as Stadium Massey said, well, James Bennett, she said, it's so lucky. A, to not get caught up in that, and B, now has a cushion of 1.5 seconds. And he's closing in on Mark Ponick ahead of him, who's only just 1.1 seconds down the road from James Byrne.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. But I think on the last lap, Ponick was much quicker than James. Although, of course, James did have to defend. But, yeah, like you say, I think he might actually be catching him. Just through very anti-alsa there, Byrne was definitely quicker. We'll see what the gap is when we come across the line. But I think, yeah, like you say, that was really well spotted. It is actually coming down, and it's going to be around a second, 1.1 seconds, give or take. And, you know, Ponick could be under pressure here very soon. And remember, Macias is still in there. He's not too far behind. And also, Brzezinski in 9th.
Tell you what's impressive, Aaron. Oliver Mordan made that mistake. Came off Ravazza 1. Lost all that time. Lost about 4.5, 5 seconds, as you said at the time, Aaron. There was 6 seconds between himself and Ranchon when he came back on the track. Now, I know it has been helped a little bit by Barreto to come off. However, himself, Ranchon, corner, we're all nose to tail. So it's, you know, not that too much difference. He's already put out a 3 point, yeah, it's just about a solid 3 seconds and change gap over Ranchon, over what it was previously. So the gap now nearly 9.5 seconds. Mala Mordan is flying here at Imola, as that's a bit of a blink there from Ranchon. Might be a little bit disturbing for Cornu, who's right behind him. Although those two being teammates, make things a little bit more comfortable.
I mean, yeah, saying Mordan has incredible pace is actually probably the biggest understatement I've ever heard. He's been on another level today, and who knows what pace Zamborski and Alarcon and Macias would have had if they were up the front as well.
Very true.
But I honestly think he would have been untouchable either way. To be honest, his pace just looks electric compared to anyone else. And, he made that mistake and has already built that gap up to what it was before. And you never know. By the end of the race, it could be as much as 20 seconds. You just never know. But this battle right here, the one for second place, is going to go on right to the very end. And I honestly think it might end in tears.
Well, the one thing we've got going for it is that the top two of this, Ranchon and Cornu, as I said earlier, they are teammates. So there will be that little bit of, rapport between them, understanding as Bon Martis has made his way past Holt. But going for Richard Holt, he was as high up as 9th place earlier on in the race, but has just struggled for race pace as we have proceeded through the race distance. Now on lap 18 out of 24, so with 6 laps remaining here from Italy. So they launched their way across the curves there with Grassini down the hill towards Ravazza, and yes, so those two being teammates at the top, and that's what's going to help him. However, don't discredit Yukimi Hara. He's got a trickle two up his sleeve, so if he can find a way past, I think he should be able to make his way through. But can he? Because he's got Barreto right behind him. He's going to slot his way through as well. Is that a bit of defensive formation or a change for a position there between Corner and Ranchon? It's a change for position. Although I think maybe just trying to slipstream one another and just shuffle around to try and keep at bay Barreto and Hara.
Yeah, this fight I think is a little bit tactical, but at the same time, it's kind of like it's a bit jumbled because you've got Rankon, who we know is an aggressive driver who will fight to the very end. We've got Cornu, who's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more cool-headed, and then Barreto, who's somewhere in the middle, and then Hara, who will... Hara's in probably the most awkward place right now. He's just going to kind of have to sit back and wait for a big opportunity for one of these drivers, possibly making a mistake and colliding with another car, because, I mean, if Hara was to get involved in this, it would definitely end really badly, as you don't really want 4 wide going into Tamburello.
You don't, but what a spectacle that would be. Where we get it remains to be seen. You never quite know with these drivers. So Mordan's still extending that gap out. Look at that. Last time around he was... I'll wait to get some updated lap times from this little gaggle as they come across the line. And as they do so, I mean, based on the previous lap time, it was a second quicker. This still is another second quicker last time around from Mordan. That is a different gravy, that is. Different gravy. Whole new level for Mordan. Wow, his fastest lap as well, Aaron. Just looking at it, is 2 tenths quicker than the next fastest, which is Barreto. Cordo and Ranchon. Oh, Barreto's through. Here we go. Right around the outside of Sosa. Is he going to get it done? He needs to hold on for dear life. He's going to have to better run out of the corner as we go up the hill towards Piratella now, and the drag race doesn't even need to really commence because that's Barreto through, and Ranchon in space of 2 laps has gone from 2nd to 4th.
I honestly think Rankon there I don't know, it looked really weird. It didn't look like he put up a fight to Barreto at all. And again, I don't know if this is any tactical moves at all by these guys, and maybe they're just playing it a bit friendly. I honestly don't know what's going on.
Oh, mistake ahead of him. That's right, that's
Cornu.
He just caught the curb on the outside, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, we know how horribly this car reacts to curbs. And I mean, Variante Alta is this car's kryptonite, basically, if you get it wrong. And Cornu is the first victim, surprisingly, all race. And actually, on the exit, it wasn't even on the exit curb of the chicane.
It was on the
outside. Yeah.
Ran a bit wide, gone a bit too much onto that ashtray turf on the outside there, and He just spun up the rears. And round he went. And he's now down to 5th. Now Barreto up into 2nd. And all of a sudden, Hara, he's got a good chance of being on the podium here. So that's James Byrne now right up onto the back. But the gap was around about a second. He had a 1.5 behind him to Macias as well. Right now, Ponic, that gap has diminished from, as I said, 1 second down to 3 attempts. And James Byrne's gap to Macias at 1.5 seconds has diminished down to 2 attempts as well. Fight to the finish here. Lap 21 from Imola. So up for grabs for so many positions. Freeway fights are plenty. And who's going to take it? And I tell you what, I think they're catching up on Denny Cornu as well. They are.
Yeah,
that's him just ahead.
Oh, yeah. Cornu, that mistake has really, really cost him. And this is now a battle for P5 between all of these guys. I don't know if Ponic has the pace to be able to stick with him. Macias certainly does. So he will want to get past as soon as possible. And Macias might actually have a really good opportunity into Ravazza 1. He does. He's opened, well, technically closed the DRS. Into Ravazza 1 we go. He's going for a send. He locks up. That's collision with Jamie Byrne and a second collision. And that was inevitable. It was a big, big send from Macias. And James Byrne could do nothing about it. He was an innocent bystander in that. And Brzezinski goes on through into 7th place. And, well, Tim, you'd rather have to say that was all on Macias.
Yeah, I mean, running out of time invokes desperate measures at times, doesn't it? And do you have to, I mean, hard to tell from that. That car.
Oh.
No.
Yeah,
No. That was a bit,
to see that.
no, a bit silly from the pair of them there. Frustrations, tempers boiling over here in Italy. There's Macias now. Well, that's going to be down to 11th. That's Bon Marti ahead of him, and Marinelle too. They're all through. And it's all gone horribly wrong for Sergio Macias. Wow. It's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. And definitely living and invoking that spirit here today at Imola. So Shindoy ahead of Macias. That car's going to have damage, hasn't it? It's going to be suffering. Oh, there you go. I mean, see all the scratched up side pods. That's normally invoking a floor damage. So he's going to have, well, less grip than slick tyres on an ice rink, isn't he, right now? So he's bouncing across the curves. And another new fastest lap of the race from Marlon Mordan.
And yes, another mistake from Macias. I just think that car is so incredibly damaged. It looks undrivable. He needs to come in. You can hear it dragging, actually, I think. And, yeah, he really does. I mean, I know it's only the second to last lap, but he's just putting himself and other cars in danger. And what happened there with Byrne, I think it was at Villeneuve. I just think Byrne was just trying to get past him and get the slipstream. And I'm not sure if Macias intentionally blocked him or was just trying to let him through. A bit awkward there, to be honest. But, I mean, you can understand Macias's frustrations. He qualified so well. And, Zafaris nearly losing it there. But just managed to keep it on the track. But, yeah, like I was going to say, Macias being taken out twice in this race. One of them being his own fault, of course, with Byrne. But, you know, speaking of Byrne, I mean, luckily, I mean, the incident wasn't his fault at all, and he's gotten back past Brzezinski.
Wow. I don't know what to say, really, Aaron. I genuinely don't know what to say. Macias all the way down to 16th now, so he's trying to bring this one home. White flags in the air. 1 lap left to go here from Imola. There is your leader, Marlon Mordan. He's going to win this one. Well, any major mistake and an absolute canter spike falling off the road. Oh, right about lap 13 it was. Right overran things into Ravazza. However, it's what's happening behind him. And God, you not even in the distance of the camera shot that far ahead. Barreto, Ranchon, and Hara covered by some 1.8 seconds between the pair of them. Wizominski trying to get his way past Byrne. Notices his last major opportunity and gets the move done into Tamburello. That is him up into 7th, the pole. Oh, Ben will be desperate to try and sneak this one straight back from him as they're nose to tail. So entering towards Villeneuve. Ben trying to force the mistake. But for Zeminski, he's wise to it. He knew what was coming there. And while this is looking more comfortable as the lap moves on and the overtaking opportunities, and certainly quality overtaking opportunities, run out for Ben. And more down, he's going to win this one by just crawl round, and he still work out to be Victor here today.
I mean, yeah, but absolutely no words to describe Mordan's race. He's been absolutely perfect from start to finish, and unsurprisingly, comes over the line to win here in Imola. And I mean, that's probably one of the best performances I've ever seen in this series. I mean, apart from that mistake, I mean, he would have finished 20 seconds ahead of everyone else. Barreto comes home in second, and Rancon in third makes it an all-French podium. And they'll definitely be very, very happy about that. And Ahara as well, really, really clean race. Just kept out of trouble and came home in fourth place. Cornu, I mean, could have definitely been a podium today. Just that mistake costing him dearly. Ponik had a good race as well. Wyrzymski up and down, would you say, in seventh place, but gained quite a few places. And yeah, wow, Tim, once again, this race, 3.5s never seem to disappoint, do they?
Never does. Never does whatsoever. As there's your Victor, Marlon Mordan, winning by a comfortable 12.5 seconds. It was across the line, although it was fair for coming onto that final lap. He should drop about a second, but who can blame him whatsoever? He can afford to just, well, he can afford to come off the track, but he's been in a different league of his own here today from Italy. Clinching, well, in the end, Barreto did close the gap up. Quite a few of the drivers did in terms of the best lap time, but just walk away with that honour too, having led every single lap, started from pole. I'd take a victory here at Imola, and Barreto is mentioned second. Ranchon to run out that all-French podium here in iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. Kimihara at fourth, then it's Cornu, where he fell off the road from second. It cost him dearly. He comes home fifth in the end. Mark Poddick sixth, then it's Wyrzymski, Bern, Bonamate. Good recovery from the Spaniard in the end. Back where he started in ninth, and Lucas Maranel running out your top 10. And then we've got Shindoi, Holt, Moraine, Zafiris, Tavares, Gallus up to 16th, and then into retirement. Macias pulled it in one lap from the end. Lap 23, Lionel Mays retired on lap 17. South Corsi and Alacron retiring all the way back on lap 1 of that contact down at Aqua Mineral. Well, it's getting late. I don't know about you. I'm ready for bed and ready for a lie down after that one. I mean, normally I don't. I'll be honest with you, Aaron. Imola, not the best for overtaking, not the best for the the neutral, the third party, the viewer. But well, that'll win out the winner today, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had some good action, and like I predicted, the midfield action was really, really entertaining, and had some controversies at the end, of course, with Macias and James Byrne. Everyone loves a little bit of a controversy, I think. I mean, some people might disagree with me. Abu Dhabi 2021, of course. Not everyone's favourite controversy, but nonetheless, it was entertaining. And today was much the same. We had plenty of action up and down the grid, from the top, middle, and bottom. And, well, what do you say, Tim? I mean, there's so much to say, yet none at all.
I think you just surmised it up nicely there, Aaron. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Apex Racing TV. I've been Tim Cox with Aaron Smith and Samuli Kumo. Thank you very much and good night.